Hi my loves, welcome to the channel Style by C. Today's tutorial will be on how to recreate this beautiful piece with two different fabrics. Do subscribe to the channel, share to friends. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using these two fabrics, okay? This is going to be serving as my upper part and this one is going to be serving as my lower part. So first thing first I did was to fold this first piece into four, okay? Which is for my front and back piece. Having done that now, the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark out from my shoulder to my hip line. So from my shoulder to my hip line, I have 24 inches. But first of all, I'm going to be removing this material belt. Now, I'm going to do from my shoulder to my hip line, but I'm going to be adding 1 inch, which is for seam allowance. Joining of your shoulder, ½ inch for joining of your shoulder, ½ inch for joining of the bottom part. So we have 25 inches, which is here. So here now you're going to go ahead. And insert your shoulder measurements. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 8 inches. From here, I'm going to insert my sleeve plus my seam allowance for the sleeve. And this is what I have. So this is where my sleeve ends. So from where the sleeve ends, I'm going to come down to 1 inch. This 1 inch I'm coming down to is for my shoulder slope. Okay. Now, at the center of our sleeve, please ignore the first line. The one we're working with is the second line. Our shoulder line. From there, we came down to 1 inch. Then here, which is our shoulder line, we're going to insert our neck width, which is 3 inches. Alright. So from here now, we're going to be connecting to our 1 inch, which is the shoulder slope. And this is what we have. Alright. Now from the shoulder slope now, we're going to be coming down to 10 inches, which is for our arm opening. And this is what we have. Now from your shoulder line again, you're going to go back to your shoulder line. From there, you're going to mark your waistline. My waistline is at 16 inches. Here. Alright. From your shoulder slope, which is 1 inch, you go down to your nipple to nipple measurement. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 10 inches. That is where I'm going to be inserting my bust measurements. Alright. So here now, which is my bust measurements, I'm going to divide my bust measurements by 4. I'll go down to my waist measurement and I'll do the same thing. The same thing I'm going to do here, I'll also do it on my hip line. So having done this now, we have 3 points here. The next thing to add is your ease allowance. Alright, so I'm going to be adding 3.5 inches for ease. Please note that you can decide to add more, you can decide to add 4. I'm going to be using 3.5 inches for my ease. And this is what I have. Connecting from my bust line to my waist, from my waist to my hip. So now this is on our bust line, okay? Our arm opening stroke, our bust line. It's not going to be in a slant, like a sharp edge here. What you have to do now, from this point now, you go in by ½ an inch to make a curve. And this is what we have. Alright. So now next we're going to be working on our neckline. For our back neckline, we're going to be working with 1.5 inches. That is the depth of our neckline. But for our front neckline, we're going to go down by 8 inches to 8.5 inches, depending on how deep you want yours to be. To my neck width. The neckline is not actually a V neckline, it's kind of a UV neckline. Alright, so from my neck width, I'm going to be connecting to the neck depth. And this is what we have. Okay, I use the cuff part of my root to form this. Now we'll go ahead to cut this out. So guys, the next thing I'm going to be working on now is our cut. Okay, so now this is where our waistline is. So for my waistline, I'm going to be going down by 2 inches, and this is it here. Okay, so from these 2 inches I went down by, I'm going to be making a curve to my hip line here. You can decide to also leave it on your waistline, or what you have to do is from your neck depth width, your neck depth, you come down to 10 inches for it. Okay, so now from here, now I'm going to be making a curve to my hip line. So I'll be using the top part of this rule to get this. And this is what we have. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is I'm going to be adding a stitching allowance to this. So what I have to do is I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. And this is what I have. So we'll go ahead to cut this out. Okay, so now I will separate the front and the back piece. So this is our front piece. We're going to be using this. We go ahead to cut out the neck piece, but before cutting out the neck piece, I want to work on the bottom parts of the gown. Okay, so loves, this is what we have. Now the next thing I went ahead to do was to place, this is our front upper piece on another folded fabric, which is, I folded it into 4. Okay, so from the upper part, which is the shoulder, I went ahead to insert the full length of my gown. Now for this, I'm working on a short gown, but what we have on the thumbnail is a long gown. Okay, so but for this tutorial, I worked on a short gown. Alright, so the next thing we have to do now is to cut this out. But before then, because we're going to be having a joining at this, that is the joining of these two, I'm also going to be having this 1/2 inch I have here on this area. So I'll go ahead to mark my 1/2 inch. And this is what I have. I wanted to trace it out, and this is what we have. So from here now, we're going to be curving down to the bottom of the gown. Okay, so when you lift it up, this is what we're going to have. So from here, we'll cut all the way down. So now I'm going to be introducing the front piece, and I'll go ahead to cut out my neck width. Okay, and this is what we have. So I'll go ahead to open this up. When you open it up, this is what it will look like. This is for the upper part. Open up this piece. So you're going to be having a joining at this area, and this is what it looks like. And this is what it will look like. So first thing first is to go ahead and join them. So I'll place it this way. Center to center. now go ahead and join it all the way down to this end. The same thing for this other side. Or if you don't want to do it that way, what you have to do is top stitch on each other. That is, there is two ways to do it. Either you join them together, or you go ahead and top stitch one on the other. Let's say for instance this now. All you have to do is just top stitch on it. Make a fold this way. Go ahead and fold in this other side. And top stitch on them. So whichever one works for you is fine. Guys, the next thing I went ahead now to cut out is a facing piece for my neckline. This is for my back. I'll also do the same thing for my front. Okay, so after that, go ahead and run a stitch on the bottom of yours. That's the base of your gown. Go ahead and hem it. All right. Loves, at this point now, the next thing to do is to join our shoulders together. That is the back shoulder and the front shoulder together. When you're done, go ahead and hem the sleeve area. Okay, just as you have seen me done here, I join these two shoulders together, this side, and I hem the sleeve. All right, the arm opening and the sleeve. So that's what you do for this side. So guys, this is for my shape line. Okay, so for my sleeve or arm opening, I use 1 inch for shaping. For the bust area or bust line, which is here, I came in from this point, I went in by 2.5 inches. But to be on the safe side, just mark from the center, mark your bust line, whatever you have, add 2 inches or 3 inches for your ease. Go ahead and shape it. All right, then from that bust line now, I came down by 8 inches. This is for my arm, for my pockets. Okay, so from there I left 7 inches spacing where I will attach my pockets. All right, so I'll go ahead and shape my dress. This point, this is my pocket, which is 14 by 14 all sides. Okay, so when I fold it in, I'll have 7 inches here, 14 inches here. All right, that is when I fold it into 2. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attach it to this opening I have earlier, I left earlier for my pocket. Okay, that's what I'm going to go ahead to do now. I'm going to attach it here.